What's happening, everybody? Mystery Man Motivation here, and I'm back at you guys with another video. And on today's video, I want to kind of break down a harsh reality regarding semen retention. And the fact of the matter is that I do talk about a lot of the positives, you know, because a lot of successful people incorporate semen retention as part of their lifestyle. But what people don't point out a lot is that there are cons to it. There are toxicity associated with it. You know, there's toxicity that's associated with semen retention and being on this journey. You know, it's not all peaches and cream. There are some dangers when it comes to semen retention. I want to kind of break down what the main things are to me, and if you ask me. So I want you guys to really be cognizant of the fact that, yes, semen retention is very powerful. Semen retention is very useful. Semen retention is an ancient practice. A lot of successful people use semen retention. A lot of millionaires, a lot of successful boxers, they don't have sex a week before a fight. Basketball players, same thing. Like, so there are proofs out there that semen retention is beneficial for your life. But also, what I want to get into is the dangers of semen retention, how semen retention can be toxic for your life, especially if you don't know how to utilize semen retention to its rightful use. So you want to really incorporate it in your life and be cognizant of what you're doing while you're on semen retention. So the first danger I want to get into, the first con, is this excess of energy. If you're not a person who isn't aware of how to use their energy, or how to utilize energy, how to channel energy, and how to transmute energy, then semen retention is definitely going to be toxic for your life, because energy is going to flow regardless. You know, energy is here. We're all the form of energy. We're all the form of vibration. But if we don't know how to utilize our vibration, I said vibration, whatever I just said, vibration is what I meant. If we don't utilize it properly, it's going to be channeled to the wrong place. It's going to be used for the wrong reasons. So when you're on semen retention, a lot of times we feel this surge of doing things and being very proactive. But for someone who isn't purpose driven, someone who don't have goals in life, they're probably going to be violent or something like that. They're probably going to utilize that excess of testosterone and energy for the wrong reasons. You don't want to get caught up in that cycle. You want to be able to channel that energy, channel that sexual energy that you accumulate from holding on to your seed, and put it towards your goals, put it towards your purpose, put it towards your craft, put it towards bettering your life, put it towards building a dream life for yourself. You don't want to get caught up in just sitting around and then you just feel a certain surge of energy. Now you want to go around and being destructive, because this can be toxic for you if you don't know how to be aware of what your energy is used for and how to use your energy the right way. So make sure you guys are properly utilizing the energy that you feel, this excess of testosterone, because we're men, we're hunters, we're providers, we're fighters, we're warriors. So a lot of times if we don't be cognizant of what it is that we're meant here for, we can utilize that and substitute it and put it in the wrong place. You don't want to utilize that energy and place it in the wrong areas of your life. You don't want to channel power and abuse it. You don't want to get strong and then start trying to beat on people and bully people. You want to utilize your strength for the right reasons. You want to utilize it for righteousness, doing right by yourself, practicing discipline, not allowing the energy to overtake you and to let you lose control, because you want to have control over your life. So understand where the energy comes from, understand what it's all about. Don't just feel energy and just do nothing with yourself, because that's going to turn into something toxic. So you do not want to do that. Always be aware of what it is that you're doing with yourself. Make sure you are following your goals. Make sure you are manifesting your passions and your purpose. Manifest your dream life on semen retention. Do not get caught up in just having all this extra energy and for it to go to waste. So that's the first way semen retention can be toxic for you. The second is obviously the flatlining part. When you're on this journey, sometimes you're going to be depressed. There's going to be days where you're not going to feel like yourself. You're going to feel like something's going on. You just don't know why you're sad and down. Understand that this is a part of the process. Do not get caught up in the mold of just because you feel a certain way means that that's where you're supposed to head. You know, we shouldn't be dictated by our feelings. We shouldn't be controlled by our feelings. We should feel feelings, but we should use our logical and rational mind to come up with a solution as to what we're feeling and why we're feeling that way. So semen retention, and because you're resetting your brain, it's gonna take you through some weird places mentally. So some days you probably won't even feel like getting out of bed. You're gonna feel tired maybe, but overall in your journey you're gonna have a lot of energy. But there's gonna be times when you hit bottoms. You know, they call it flatlining. So you just feel like you know, you don't feel like yourself, you don't feel your best. So you can become toxic in that state. You can start making terrible decisions because you're down. You can start trying to relapse now. Now you can start being controlled by your urges. And then you can start being destructive. So being controlled by your urges, and now you just released all your benefits. You just released your life force. You just released your power. So don't let flatlines get you in a funk, because it may or may not happen. For most people, it does happen at some point in their journey. But if it happens to you, don't get caught up in the mode of, this is what it's supposed to be, so I'm gonna do that as a result. No, it is what it is. If you feel down, just understand that this is what it is. Be aware of it, because that's the powerful part, being aware of things. Being aware that you're in a flatline state right now. And it'll pass. This will pass. It's not going to be prolonged. It's going to be for a couple days. Some people, it varies. So don't get caught up in thinking that you have to now break your retention because you're feeling down, because you're feeling temptation, because you're feeling urges now. You don't know how to motivate yourself. Just relax. Go for a walk. Do something therapeutic. Write a song. Go vent to a friend. Go for a nice jog. Drive by the lake. Go sit by the water. Go meditate. Do what you have to do to feel better about yourself in that moment, because like I said, this is going to happen to most people. So don't let droughts and flatlines get you in a funk, because now you're going to start being toxic, and your semen retention is going to be used against you, because now you're utilizing this feeling as a result of semen retention, and you're utilizing it to take yourself backwards. You don't want to relapse. You don't want to go backwards. The point is to move forward and to grow and to excel. So don't get caught up in the funk. So those are the two things that are key to me, and I feel like you guys should know and be aware of, that how semen retention can be toxic for you if you don't utilize it right. So, but semen retention, like I said, is very powerful and is very positive. It, for the most part, is positive. But there's always going to be a positive and negative to no matter how good something is or how powerful it is. Lifting weights is very powerful, but you can hurt yourself. That's just the reality. You can improperly train and mess your body up. So always understand that although things are powerful and positive, there's always a negative side. So be cognizant of both sides, but don't let the negative side deter you from doing what you have to do. You know, unless the negatives outweigh the positives. But if the positives outweigh the negatives, keep going with what you're doing. Same thing with your semen retention. It's more positive than negative. So keep going on this journey. Don't let the toxicity and don't let the cons deter you from accomplishing your goals. So with that being said, Mystery Man Motivation here. If you like what you heard, make sure you guys smash that like button down below. Subscribe to the channel, because I'm here to bring you motivational content on a consistent basis that's going to better your life. And when you better your life, you better the lives of those around you. So be that vessel in the world. So with that said, Mystery Man Motivation here. I'm out.